Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a swarm of drakes coming right at you. Quick, run! Today's deck tech is Alandra Sky Dreamer. I'm Paul, I'm your host from the first rule of Nerd Club. Let's have a look what the commander does. As I said, we've got Alandra Sky Dreamer. Is a 2 blue Merfolk wizard. First ability is whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. Amazing, not hard to draw your second card each turn, especially in this deck when there's about 24 or 29 different ways to draw. Second ability, whenever you draw your 5th card each turn, Alandra Sky Dreamer and Drakes you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. It is so easy to get that ability as well, and there's been many a time where I surprised people and just been like, oh, this is now a 14/14 flying Drake at your face. This is by far my most favourite commander that I've got, basically. I love playing this deck. If anything, if I could only play this deck, I probably would only play this deck. I just love it. I don't know if it's just about because it's Drakes, which is my last name, so I'm a bit biased, or it's the fact I love drawing cards and just, you know, having flying creatures. I don't know, it's just I'm very biased about this commander. So let's see what sort of win cons there is. Before we get into the win cons, I just want to mention this infinite mana combo. So you have the Deadeye Navigator on the board, and you have Peregrine Drake in your hand. You play the Peregrine Drake, which then means you can untap, obviously, five lands. You then soulbound it to the Deadeye, and then you use the Deadeye's ability. As long as Deadeye Navigator is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has pay 1 and a blue, exile this creature, then return it to the battlefield under your control. Well, that's awesome. It gives you infinite mana, because what you do is you exile the Peregrine Drake, you exile the card, and then obviously you put it back on the battlefield. When it enters the battlefield, it then gives you 5 mana, which you can untap. Gives you infinite mana. Great little combo to have in the deck. So the win con number 1 is basically how you want to play the game, how the theme of the deck is. So you basically want to have your commander out. You want ways to draw cards so you can create drakes. This could be either small little sorceries, or, you know, instances or creatures that tap and let you draw a card. So then what you do is you bring out maybe 4 or 5 drakes, and then later on you then get a bigger spell, or you get like other cards that have you to draw cards, which then means you can then get the second ability of +X, and then people don't realize it, and then you've got like 15 cards in your hand, and then you've swung at a person and it's like 17 damage to their face just with one. So you can end up taking out a few people. There's been quite a few times I've won with the deck and people haven't realized what I'm doing and how I've got a few out, and you don't even need that many, and then you get draw cards and you swing at people and that does a lot of damage. Win con number 2, if people are being nasty and not letting you play, you know, Magic. The whole point of playing is to win. How dare they? So you have Biomancer on the battlefield. You'll also have Wizard class. Now this needs to be at level 3. So level 3 says whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. So obviously you draw a card, you get 1/1 counter and put it on Biomancer. When Biomancer has 1 or more 1/1 counter put on it, you draw a card, then you discard a card. So you basically draw the card, discard, then you get Wizard class. Whenever you draw a card, you put 1/1 counter back on Biomancer, and you do that until you've drawn your whole deck, and then you've got the Laboratory Maniac, which obviously will win you the game, because that says if you draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you will win the game. Win con number 3, you've got Maluku Clouded Mirror. So there's a sub-theme to the deck. It's actually wizards, because wizards have got a great bit of synergy together, and I'll go into that a bit later. But basically this reads, if you've got 1 mana, you tap it, you return a land you control to the owner's hand, create a 1/1 blue illusion creature token with flying, which is great. You basically have this walking eons in your hand, so this is like a limited, well, infinite turns. Target player takes an extra turn after this one, so obviously you choose yourself. So then once you say, right, you play the card, then you play this Mystic Sanctuary. You basically, when it enters the battlefield untapped, you may put target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. Then you take your next turn, obviously in your turn you draw the card, and then obviously you use Maluku's ability to tap the Mystic Sanctuary, you bring that back to your hand, and hey presto, you've got the mana there again. You just keep doing that and you get infinite turns. as you can see with every deck I generally build, I've got at least 2 win cons. I try and go above that because how many times have you been in a commander deck where you've literally got 1 win con and everyone shuts it down and you just sat there bored? I just can't be dealing with that. So if someone said, right, okay, well, I'm not letting you have your commander out, or I'm not letting you build up your drakes and stuff, then fair enough. I want other ways to win the game. Win con number 4, as I said, is similar to what it was before, but instead you use Psychosis Crawler instead. So you use the Biomancer and the Wizard class. Obviously you do them to draw the cards and put the 1/1 counters on, but every time you draw a card, as the Psychosis Crawler says, whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. Oof. So if they've only got like 30 life left, all you need to do is draw 30 cards and bing bada bosh bada boo, they're dead. Simple as that. Easy. Win con number 5 is very salty because it stops everyone else playing the game. So yeah, it can be very salty. So you've got Narset, Partner of Veils. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Well, then you've got Teferi's Puzzle Box. Now, Teferi's Puzzle Box is in the deck because it basically reads, at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player puts the cards in their hand on the bottom of the library in any order, then draws that many cards. Well, to get the second ability, the +X, this is a great card just to add in, just so then each turn, you know you can get +X, that second ability on Alandra every single turn. But with these 2 combo together, no one can draw cards. So what happens is, because they can't draw a card, more than 1 card each turn, they come to the draw step, they draw the card. But because of Teferi's Puzzle Box, they have to put all the cards in their hand to the bottom of the battlefield. So the draw of their deck comes first. So they have, that's the 1 card they can only draw, and then it has to, whatever cards they got in hand has to go to the bottom of the deck. So that's it then, they can't draw any more cards that turn, so this kind of shuts down every single opponent. That's why it's very salty, but I like it. Let's see the sort of things that fit into the theme of the deck. So we have ways to obviously draw cards like the Howling Mine. At the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, that player draws an additional card. Well, it might be giving everyone else a card, but it also gives you that guaranteed second card every single turn, which is amazing. And then if you have Narset out, they can't draw that second card. So, you know, fantastic. Now, the reason why I chose Wizard sub-theme to this is because of this. Azomi Labia Scrolls. This says tap an untapped wizard you control, draw a card. Well, because all the creatures, well, most of the creatures are wizards, you can just tap them down and you can get the +X ability from Alandra. Ooh, synergies. Just listen to that. Synergies. That's the best thing about making sure your deck is synergetic to how either you want to play or how the commander is. You want everything to be synergized. Then you have things like Loyal Drake. Easy. You keep your commander out. At the beginning of your combat, on your turn, if you control your commander, draw a card. Great stuff. There's the second card each turn. This is a great one. Academy Loremaster. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player may draw an additional card. If they do, spells they cast that turn cost 2 more to cast. Well, that's fine. If you've got no other way to draw cards, this is a great way to do it. At least you're creating them drakes. We want to get quite a few drakes out. Well, not quite a few. Maybe you want to get a few out. At least 3 or 4. I've won with only like 3 or 4 drakes out, because if you do that +X and you've got like 14, 15 cards in your hand, then the +2, then you've got the actual creatures and like put out on top of which is 2. That's like 17 creatures with flying that just swing, and you can either take people out or smash their faces. It's great. You also have things like Thought Courier, great little card. Wizard again, draw a card, then discard a card. That just helps you with that one little card that you need each turn. Let's have a quick look at the rest of the deck. If you like the deck so far, then please check the comments, check the description below. You'll find the deck list. Also, you'll find a link to my Patreon. If you like it, then please think about becoming a Patreon. It helps the channel out. It helps me make good decks and just keep basically things going. What else do we have on the deck? So we've got 9 board wipe / target removals. I love enchantment ways to obviously do that. So you've got things like Witness Protection, Into the Deep, Kazama's Transmutation. Basically, makes the creatures that they attach to, or whatever they attach to, planeswalkers, no abilities, just 1/1s, or they're just basically just null and void. So if you can put that on someone's commander, that then, you know, stops them from using their commander's ability. 7 counter spells. I like to put quite a few in there, just to stop, you know, people trying to get rid of your commander or your key pieces to your combo. Having a few is always, in my opinion, the best way to go about it. You want that interaction to stop people progressing on their board as well, so counter spells are always good. There was only 18 creatures in total, because we're creating loads of drakes each turn. We only really need wizards to come out. There we go. 29 ways to draw in the deck. There shouldn't be any times in the deck where you're thinking, I can't draw any cards. They all fit in with the theme. They all want you to draw cards. They all want you to have a better game. There's 34 lands in the deck. I found that quite to be the sweet spot. Any more than that, I was getting flooded. Any less than that, didn't seem to want to get enough out. 7 mana rocks, a couple of them like Thought Vessel and Decanter of Endless Water. Both you have no maximum hand size. We need that because we are drawing a crap ton of cards. We also got Wizard class, that gives you no maximum hand size, as well as, I'm going to butcher it, Triskide Elkelfail. Not even sure that's how you pronounce it, but the main ability is you have no maximum hand size. Not too really sure about the second bit where it says at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. I've never actually been able to do that, but if there's that 1 in a million chance where you actually do it, there's another win con as well. Also, last but not least, there's a little bit of opponent hate, which is Kasimi Enigmatic Mentor. Basically spells your opponent cast that target creatures or planeswalkers you control cost 2 more to cast. That's just to help you keep the things on your board. Let me know in the comments below if this has inspired you to make an Alandra Sky Dreamer deck. Managed to this card back in February time. It was only probably about £4 or £5. It's now skyrocketed up to about £14, £15, which kind of shows me that people are realizing how good this card is. So comment below, like and subscribe to the video if you find that this video is good, or if you feel like, there's ways I can improve. And if this hasn't wet your whistle yet, then watch this deck tech next.